Welcome back to another episode of Smoked Meat with Jeff. Or should I say, Smoked Potatoes with Jeff. Technically, twice smoked potatoes with Jeff. Today we're going to do a vegetarian, well, almost a vegetarian dish. You can make a vegetarian if you leave out the bacon. We're going to be doing twice smoked baked potatoes. And to do this, you're going to need a couple of real basic ingredients. Pretty much all of them are going to be food ingredients today because we don't really need any special tools for this. But you're going to need some baker potatoes, and I prefer the elongated ones, and of course the bigger the better, for your base. And we are going to throw these things in the smoker for about 3 hours to soften them up, and then we're going to cut them in half, scoop them out, make a special stuffing for them, mix all that together, stuff it back in the potato, and then throw it back onto the smoker for about half an hour to finish it off. But let's cover some of the basic ingredients here, of course, after we take a look at the final product. Damn! Now tell me that didn't look amazing. Alright, to get started, actually let's go over the basic ingredients. So obviously you need the potatoes, you're going to need some olive oil, and some kosher salt. And this is going to be for the first step of the process. And then after that, and I just have a list here because I have to run to the store while this is sitting on the smoker for 3 hours. We're going to need about 1.5 cups of grated cheese, whatever cheese you want to go with. I'll probably go with some pepper jack today. Some jalapenos that we're going to dice and de-seed. 4 ounces of cream cheese that we're going to let get nice and soft. Half a stick of butter. Some bacon bits that we're going to make. And of course some of my special seasoning that I make, my sweet and spicy, that will be going on this during the last half of the cooking process. So those are your basic ingredients, and we'll get back to the preparation of those once we get these things onto the smoker. So why don't we start with that? Real simple process. You're going to take your potatoes. I throw them usually in a larger dish like this, just makes it a little easier to work with. Drizzle on some olive oil. And then we're going to coat these potatoes. And it helps to have a towel handy when you do this. So now those are all nice and coated with the olive oil. And then we're just going to liberally sprinkle these with some kosher salt, like I have here. Coat one side of the potatoes, flip them over, and then work on the second side. That's looking excellent. So now that we have those smoked or seasoned, we're just going to throw them directly onto the grate. You can use a Bradley rack like I normally do, but today I'm just going to throw these right on the grate because I may need to move things around a little bit. Got some other projects going on the smoker right now that you can check out in some of my other videos. So let's get these things on and start the journey towards deliciousness. Potatoes are on the smoker. I've had a chance to go to the store and buy my additional supplies, so I'm going to go over those with you real quick because we can do a lot of the prep work for getting ready for when we pull these things off the smoker to start stuffing them. So at the store I picked up 3 jalapenos. I'm going to de-seed these and then chop them finely. I got some green onion. I'm going to take about 2/3 of this and actually chop it up real fine to go inside the stuffing mix, and then the last third I'm going to chop up fine for putting on the top when it's done as a garnish. Got my Philadelphia cream cheese. I'm going to let this sit out and soften. We won't use the whole container. About half of this container will get used to mix into the stuffing. I've got my pepper jack cheese. I'm going to grate about 1.5 cups of this to put in the stuffing. And then I have some Colby Jack cheese. I'm going to grate a little bit of this to just top it off to give it a little bit of color. Of course, we're going to need some butter, a couple teaspoons of butter. And I've got made some bacon bits to go into the stuffing. And then I decided I'm going to dress this thing up when it's all done, and I picked up some sour cream, so I put a little dab of sour cream on the top of each one, as well as some avocado. So while I chop and grate and get all this stuff mixed up, we're going to let the potatoes sit on the smoker until they're ready to pull off, and then we'll be back and we'll cover how to continue from there. Okay, we're coming up on about 2 hours 45 minutes on these potatoes that I've had on the smoker now. Let's take a look at that. They're coming along nicely. You see a nice little salt crust on the outside. Getting a little tender. Oh, that one's doing really good. So we got about another 15-20 minutes on that, and then we'll pull them off, split them in half, and start scooping. Over here, next to that, is going to be the main course for today. We've got some lamb shanks. And you can see how to do this on one of my other videos. So I'm going to go start mixing some of the inner ingredients for these potatoes so we can stuff them. Alright, and here we go. We got our potatoes pre-cooked and ready for the next step of splitting them open, scooping out the insides, and making our stuffing. To do this, though, you're going to want to make sure that you handle these with some sort of hot glove, because these potatoes are very hot right now. And you're just going to take it, split each potato without tearing the skin as best you can, so it's like that. And you're going to do this for all the potatoes that you have available. And then grab a dish that you're going to do your mixing in. I'm just going to throw the half stick of butter down in the bottom and have that ready to go, so as I start to pile on the potato stuffing, it'll kind of melt it. So you're just going to take your potato and spoon and then work on hollowing out the inside. And I'll be back with you in a moment after I get one of these things hollowed out properly, so you can see what it should look like by the time you're done. Alright, so I have all of the innards from the potatoes in here with the butter, and now it's just a matter of adding our other ingredients. I'll start with the half a block of cream cheese. Just going to drop that in there. We got our green onion and jalapenos. Going to throw in our bacon bits. And then grab your masher and just start mashing everything together. And as you do this, start adding in your cheese. Got the pepper jack right here. And you just want to get this mixed up really well to create the stuffing that you're going to throw back into the halves of your potatoes that should be little boats at this point. Little hollowed out boats to accept all this flavorful goodness that we're going to throw back in here. So let me get some mixing done, and then we'll stuff these potatoes. Well, we have our stuffing all done. Nice and mixed up there with all of the different ingredients. So we'll just grab the spoon that we used for hollowing these things out. Take a spoonful of the stuffing and just start putting it back into the potato skins, making sure that it is heaping over the top. Like so. And then we're going to take some just regular cheese and just kind of press it into the top there. Put it on our Bradley rack. So this one is done, and then we just put it back in the smoker for about another half hour, 45 minutes or so, to let this bake a little bit more or smoke a little more, and melt that cheese. And then we pull it out. Time to serve it up. Makes a great appetizer or a side dish or a main dish, depending on how many of these things you make, but definitely a crowd favorite. So let me finish these up, and we'll get them onto the smoker. Okay, our twice baked stuffed potatoes are done. Take a look at that. I don't know if you can get a good view. but I'll get you some better pictures here in a second. So these are basically ready to top and serve. I'm going to top them off with a little bit of sour cream, some avocado, and some finely done green onions here, and we'll get this on the side dish for dinner tonight. So this is Jeff with Smoked Meat with Jeff, or actually today, like I said before, smoked potatoes with Jeff. Hope to see you next time, and have fun on your smoker.